Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And for this movie review another a film that grew up watching the film, had my on my old VHS, and I still like the film, but I was like about it's a little bit. I used to I don't love it as much as I used to, but I still think it's a decent movie. And which are one of the things which I'll get to why I've say that I think it's a decent movie. I'll get to my reasons. But one we review today is My Favorite Martian, starring Jeff Daniels and Christopher Lloyd. It came out in the year 1999, and right off the film bombed, and but cost like 65 million, made 36 million. So the film did bomb, and it's directed by Donald Petrie, which he has done a lot of films. He has directed Mystic Pizza. I think that was one with Julia Roberts. Opportunity Knocks. Grumpy Old Men with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. Richie Rich. This film. He also will go on to direct Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Welcome to Mooseport, and My Life in Ruins. So the guy has gone on to do stuff, but and I think he's also the father of the director of Daniel Petrie, which his father Daniel Petrie he went going to direct the sequel to Cocoon. I think the Cocoon Return, I think it was, and the '90s movie Lassie. But and the film came out, it got mainly like mixed to, well, I would say negative reviews. I would say it has a 4.3 on IMDb and has a 12% on Rotten Tomatoes. Roger Ebert, I guess he was kind of mixed about the film as well. He gave like some positives, but also some negatives, like saying that he gave the halfway 2 out of 4 stars, saying the movie is clever in its visuals, labored in its audios, and noisy enough to entertain kids up to a certain age. What age? The low double digits. There are some good moments in My Favorite Martian. It looks like if everyone who made the film had a lot of fun. But yeah, I can see that. I can definitely I can see that people have had fun making this movie. I can see that. Of course, growing up, I can see why, because I had fun with this movie growing up, and I still do. I still get fun moments out of it. I still think it's a decent movie. I used to love the film back growing up with as a kid, so that's a little bit down here. So I don't. It's not like all the way down here. It's like slightly a bit down here, but I still think it's a decent movie. I don't think it's horrible. I don't think it's that. Um, and the film stars Jeff Daniels and Christopher Lloyd, and it's also My Favorite Martian is based on the '60s TV show, which I'll be honest, I have not seen. I haven't seen the old My Favorite Martian though. And also one of the cast members stars the um, Ray Walston, who was who played the original Uncle Martin in the old '60s show. He's in this film as well. So the star of the original show is also appears in this film. Other fellows stars like Elizabeth Hurley from the first Austin Powers, I believe, and Daryl Hannah, Wallace Shawn, Wayne Knight as the Zoot, even though his name is not on the credits, though he's uncredited as the voice of Zoot. And like I said, Ray Walston is in this. Um, starting off, it opens up on the planet Mars. There's this rover, I think that's what it's called, taking a sample, but then the power shuts off, and then it shows there's a city on Mars, and there's a ship going from Mars heading towards Earth, and Jeff Daniels as Tim O'Hara, who's he gets fired from his job, and which Elizabeth Hurley is the reporter, and they wanted to broadcast the first space shuttle from this Air Force base, and on his way home, he sees the spaceship crash, and he wants to put together a story after seeing this, and he goes home, which the ship has shrunk, and he takes it home with him. Christopher Lloyd as, well, Tim gives him the name Uncle Martin, but for now he's just no name. So he follows him home, and Jeff Daniels was a burglar. Hits him over the head, and you see that bent one of his Christopher Lloyd's antennas. But then he then knocks him out, and as who was the one with the girl? Lizzie. That's what Daryl Hannah plays. So Christopher Lloyd, he uses his powers to become Jeff Daniels. Make himself look like Jeff Daniels. Because Lizzie's at the door, he disguised as Jeff Daniels, still wearing the Zoot. He kisses her and then shuts the door on her. And then when Jeff Daniels wakes up, he's on the ceiling, and Christopher lets him down. Like, as you wish. This is his powers by doing this with his finger. I think that was in the original TV show as well, doing this with the finger. I think that was his power was. So he's like, "Good morning, Tim O'Hara. Any attempt to expose me will be useless. Aliens use 100% of our brain capacity, and humans only use 10%. And Jeff Daniels goes, I think we use more than 10%. And Christopher Lloyd says, your astronauts pee in their spacesuits. Case closed. And Jeff Daniels is like... So then he makes his ship bigger again and introduces him to Zoot, voiced by Wayne Knight. He attempts to expose Christopher Lloyd because there's this neighbor of his, but he says he wants to fix the ship, so he wants to get supplies, and he wants to get him some new clothes. And while this Jeff Daniels, he wants to get a story, so he tries to record him what he does and probably what in his true form as well. Like they go to a clothing store, and he attempts to he has this camera pen here in his pocket, or he tries to later on, but he tries to get a camcorder, and he actually drops his which Zoot when he puts himself into this middle part of the suit, puts himself into it, and he drops these little which is supposed to be gum, what it looks like a little kid tries to take one, and Christopher Lloyd's like, my nerveplex is what it's called, and the kid sticks his tongue up, but then Christopher Lloyd says like this scene right here, says a tongue with 3 eyeballs right there, scares the kid away. And that's something that one thing is some of the CGI, well, I would say maybe a lot of CGI is kind of wonky, I would say, Probably back then I thought it was pretty good, but now I can see it's kind of wonky CGI, I would say. So that's one of the things I say. Oh, that's why I say it's decent. What I don't love that like I used to, because the CG is not all that great. Kind of wonky at times, but yeah, that's one of the issues I have with it. So he goes and takes Tim to the dressing room to show him Because he said, "Why don't you give a piece of gum? Give the kid a piece of gum." He's like, "Okay, you go ahead and try it then." So he eats one, and he sees that his hands are transformed more like an alien-like arm, so he spits it back out. Because what the gum he used, Christopher Lloyd chooses, makes him take on the human form. With on humans, it has a reverse effect. And he shows him that, especially this one here, Vinox 7. Don't use Vinox 7. That's like the most dangerous alien life form. I think that's what he's saying, because that's like, don't mess with Vinox 7. So he takes him right out to the pier, and like introduces him to ice cream. And while Jeff Daniels goes into talks with Lizzie for a second, he sees that Christopher Lloyd is using his powers like controlling, eating all the ice cream. And at the time you see Ray Walston as this mysterious guy, and Wallace Wallace Shawn, who probably is more memorable as the voice of Rex in Toy Story. He's as Coli. He's a scientist who wants to capture a Martian to prove that the Martians are real and stuff. And then the next time, then he wants to Jeff Daniels goes and gets some pen camera to capture, videotape him with his spaceship and stuff, and Zoot in the washing machine. So he offers Christopher Lloyd, calls him Uncle Martin, or just Martin, to take a bath in the hot tub he has in the back, so when he gets into his Martian form, he can capture and film it, so he can show to the reporters he has a story. So he does. He's filming that stuff, and he wants to try to get some sleep, but he goes and wakes up in a few seconds. He wants to go to the ice cream shop, and Jeff Daniels notices the guy Ray Walston's character on the out there, but then he runs off. See if there's anything else. I always like trying to remember it's always the middle part that I was trying to remember. I know like most of the beginning and the ending part especially. One thing leads to another. I forget what happens. He somehow I forgot somehow that found out that he's covered Elizabeth Hurley has found out that he's hiding something, so he tries to go over there to his house. Well, before that, he offered Jeff Daniels calls up Daryl Hannah, asking her to come over and stuff, supposedly maybe on a date. Well, Daryl Hannah thought it was a date, so. And then Christopher Lloyd finds out that his spaceship is equipped with an ISS, which stands for Interstellar Safety System. As a countdown, then if he doesn't take off by 9 o'clock tonight, the ship's gonna explode, blow a whole piece of I don't know how much. So he's sinks into a Martian depression. He starts falling apart. All of his limbs fall apart. His head falls apart. And then Elizabeth Hurley shows up and tries to distract Jeff Daniels. Well, she goes and searches for the videotape of all the evidence that she's for the Martian. And then Lizzie comes by and sees Jeff Daniels with Elizabeth Hurley. She gets feelings hurt, but then she goes downstairs to see that Zoot's working on the ship, and he pulls her into the ship without nobody noticing. So Jeff Daniels has to get to the news station before they broadcast that stuff out there. So, and Christopher Lloyd's head is in a gym bag. So they get to the news station. He tells Martin that he got everything because he was going to do his story, but he couldn't do it because he likes him, and then puts himself back together. So Christopher Lloyd Martin tries to goes for at Elizabeth Hurley's dressing room and says, "I want to be Grace Jennings." So he shows her antennas and does this, and lifts her up, so he would disguise as her to go on the news station, while Jeff Daniels goes and switches the videotape around. And there's a little problem because Christopher Lloyd disguised as Elizabeth Hurley is going right in front of the broadcasting station, where reporters say stuff, and from being aired, and that he's Jeff Daniels is trying to get him out of there because he spit the gum when he was trying to give back the gum, put it back in his mouth before he shows in front of the whole cameras, drive back into his Martian form in front of the whole cameras to see. But he manages to get him out of there, and while Tim's neighbor finds the shrunk spaceship with Zoot and Lizzie in it. She's like having a rummage sale, so he takes it, puts it along with other stuff as in her car. Jeff Daniels and Christopher Lloyd go after her, but then they get caught by Wallace Shawn and the government people, I guess you could say. So Martin shrinks him and Tim in his car, so he shrinks them all the way down, and they go into this sewer and manage to lose him. But then they find out that they're in someone else's toilet, and of course shows. Well, it doesn't you don't see the guy, It shows that he's gonna go and take a what in his toilet. So Tim tells Martin do it to make the car big and goes crashing through their house. And what I had to say was why Martin's ship is not working, because he needs from Tim's car is an alternator to turn on the engine for his ship. So he takes that. So he needed that part to make his ship to work. But then he gets tranquilized, gets caught by the government people and Wallace Shawn. So then he gets him and Tim gets taken there, and Tim is telling one of the guys that has the little controller that makes Martin's ship go shrink or unshrink. So he's telling the guy to do this. Although I wonder why. What was the first? Also, what was the point of just making the ship bigger? Did he know that Zoot and Lizzie were in it? I don't know. That little part I still didn't never get, because what was the point of him telling to unshrink the thing? Did he know that Zoot was in it or Lizzie was in it? Well, first I think he did know Lizzie was in it, but did he know that Zoot was in it because couldn't find him? That little part there I was not certain about, but whatever it did, the ship was big. Zoot and Lizzie get out of it, and Zoot tries to scare the people away. He's like, "Oh!" He's like, "My zipper's stuck, and I'm mad as hell." So then they get these two big guards. Each Zoot distracts one guy, but then the other guy shoots him, and gets that hurts him, and Tim's getting beaten up by the two guys, and Zoot tells Lizzie to chew on the VNOx 7. So she does, and makes her transform into a big green alien monster. And the CG, like I said, it's not the best CG though, but I can tolerate it because I know it's not the best CG, but growing up with a film back then, I didn't think, because I didn't know what CG was, so I thought that was so I could tolerate it, even though I know it's not the best CG. So, but she tosses one guy through the computer screens, and then she goes and eats the other guy up, and Jeff Daniels is watching, and is like, "Did you do something with your hair?" It's glad you noticed. So then she spits back on back to her human form. So they go ahead to go and get Martin. All of the Wallace Shawn thinks he's dead, but he still wants to operate, and he gets zapped by Jeff Daniels with a defibrillator. Clear, zaps him. So he puts the the thing where Zoot can come out and just like it's like healing him, and he's okay. So they get out of the facility so he can to enough space to so he can make his ship big again. So he's ready to take off. And Wallace Shawn shows up that he's not gonna let him leave. Then Ray Walston, the mysterious guy, wants him to let him go, but then Wallace Shawn's gun is hurled up in the air, which Jeff Daniels thought it was Martin, but it's really the Ray Walston. He's actually an alien himself named Neenert. He was he was a Martian that was stuck on Earth for some time. That's why he looks old. So he's been trying to hitch a ride home ever since. And he gets back his antennas that was taken out of him. And him and Christopher Lloyd like doing this to Wallace Shawn, make him go blah 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 blah. So and there was a couple like two things that Ray Walston says that references the TV show. Like he says when it talks about his Christopher Lloyd's antennas, like, my antenna, I can't go without these. I've been having trouble getting dates already. And then Ray Walston says, mine's been having trouble too. And everything is in black and white. Of course, black and white is referencing to the old TV show, which was in black and white. And then he takes out his gum and says, that gum has lost its flavor in 66. 66 indicates that was when the TV show ended. The old TV show ended in 66, basically. So the other two lines that he says are references to the old TV show. Black and white, and 66 is when the show ended. So they go take off and fly away, and then Wallace Shawn gets the gum that Ray Walston had, and Jeff Daniels warns him don't do that. But he doesn't listen, so he takes it anyway, and so he transforms into the exact what the Martian. The Martian form looks like, and he swallows it, so he becomes a Martian permanently. And then the army goes and takes, and they want to tranquilize him. It's like, no, don't listen, that's me. I'm not a Martian. But that was his fault. So, and then sometime later, Tim and Lizzie are together, and then Martin comes back that he wants to stay with them, while Neenert flies back to Mars, which Jeff Daniels says it was not a good idea because it's like, you see how he eats, it's not pleasant, but he says, oh, why not? And they kiss, and then Christopher Lloyd is telling Zoot, we got cookie dough, and he's like, Zoot, where are you? And shows Zoot back in the dishwasher reading a Victoria's Secret magazine. So overall, I still like the movie, but I don't love it as what I used to. But I still like the movie. I don't love it, but I absolutely don't hate the movie though. But I still think it's a very decent movie. The issues is, like I said, is mainly because the CGI is it's not the best though. But I can tolerate it because I enjoy this movie so much growing up though. And I can tolerate the CG, so it's not the best, but I can tolerate it. And like I said, the little moment when Jeff Daniels was telling one of the scientists to unshrink the spaceship. Like I said, did he know that Zoot was in it? And I don't know what was the point of him telling him to make the ship bigger. He was telling him to, but did he know that Zoot was in it? I didn't know what. I still couldn't figure that part out. I'm sure somebody will tell me. But I'm sure there's others. Maybe some of the jokes I didn't find funny, but well, not all the jokes, but I knew there were some. I knew there was a couple of jokes I didn't find funny though, but I just can't remember. Oh, well, that's one thing. I didn't find it funny. With Zoot when they were in the clothing store, and Christopher Lloyd was telling Zoot get back into the belt of it, and Zoot goes and lets that his backspace and hang out and pretends like he's like farting. I think, yeah. That joke I did not care for. Like I said, I don't like fart jokes, so that's one joke I did not like. I just don't like fart jokes. Um, the cast, Jeff Daniels, I thought he was fine. Christopher Lloyd, he worked what he had to do as playing Martin. So I don't think he was not horrible. Christopher Lloyd, because I always enjoyed him as an actor for a long time. So I thought he did the best he could. So Jeff Daniels, Christopher Lloyd, Daryl Hannah, I thought she was all right. Elizabeth Hurley, I thought she was all right as well. Wallace Shawn, I'm kind of so on him, but Ray Walston as having the star of the original in the original show having appear in the movie, I thought that was kind of nice, and those little things he said at the end, little touch-ups on the TV show as well. Like I said, Jeff Daniels, Christopher Lloyd, I thought they were decent. Daryl Hannah, I thought she was fine. Elizabeth Hurley, not really the person I've been the biggest fan of the actress though, but I thought she was so, and Wallace Shawn so. Ray Walston, I thought it was a nice appearance from the old TV show as well. Wayne Knight as Zoot, I thought he was fine as well. But overall, I do like the movie. Like I said, I have a couple of issues with it though, but I don't hate the movie. I thought it was very decent. I don't love it like I used to back in the day though. Like I said, back in the day when I used to watch all the time, it was like I loved it though, but now it's a little bit down here, so I think it's decent enough. Still, I don't hate the movie, but I still think it's a very decent movie. So I don't hate it, but I still like it. I can understand why the film flops though, but I've seen a lot much worse movies though, but I still like the movie. I don't think it's not as horrible. So overall, I still like my Favorite Martian. I still like the movie. No features, just a trailer, and it's only 93 minutes. So, and the pacing, like I said, in the middle, that's where I was like, just trying to get through. But overall, it was decently paced. It's not like a little bit slow. It was like a little bit slow in the middle for me, though. That's why I was pausing and trying to remember what was in the middle because it was slow. But it wasn't that slow, but it was. But then it picked up later when we got towards the end. American Urban Radio Network says out of this world. But yeah, my Favorite Martian. I still like the movie. I still do. Have issues, but I still like the movie. Anyway, yeah. So we have Christopher Lloyd and Jeff Daniels. I thought they did perfectly fine. Probably people don't think so, but I thought they were fine in what they had to do. But anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.